Well, our first game that we're going to talk about in the Great Game Debate is the good old classic Carcassonne, and we're going to get a teach right now.
All right, this is going to be an overview of Catan. We're not going to dive deep into the rules, but just kind of give you an idea. So the river's already set up, but I'm going to show you what you are going to do on your turn. You're simply going to draw a tile, and you are going to place it adjacent to a terrain type that already exists. So here we have the fields are next to the fields, or I could put it here next to a city, but I cannot put a city next to a field like that, or next to a river or cut off a road. The tiles have to match. After I've placed that tile, I can then choose to put a meeple on it that's going to claim it as my own. If I lay it down, that becomes a farmer, and that guy is locked in for the rest of the game. When the game is completed, we'll kind of count up to see how many cities this guy is adjacent to determine how many points he's going to be. Or I can choose for him to be in the city. I'm going to stand him up. I will get that guy back whenever the city is actually completed. So if I played that tile there, it completed the city, you would score it immediately, and then you'd get your guy back. You can also place a tile like this, a road. The same kind of restrictions. A road has to match another road, and then when you place it on there, you can put your meeple on there claiming that road. All right, let's say that the next person goes and places this tile here. All of the conditions are met, the roads meet, and the city meets. Now this meeple cannot go onto that road because it's already being contested by the blue, but he could go on the city. You will not get your meeple back until the road has been completed, like placing this tile, and then you would score points for each road segment that your meeple is on. And the last tile we'll talk about is the monastery. This one is often in a field onto its own, so if I wanted to put my meeple there, he becomes a monk. Now I do not get this meeple back until every square adjacent to that monastery has been completed. But once it has, that tile will go back to me as well. Here's an example of the tiles being completed. So if I do this, I will score points for every single tile that is surrounding my monk, and then I will reclaim my monk. As you notice that this board is shared amongst all players, so this is one big collective board. This game can be very aggressive. You can build things to where a city will never end. When you have a farmer in a field, you can build one farm to connect to another farm and try to overtake that farm. So there are definitely attack patterns in this game. It's just not a cozy little tile laying game, though it definitely could be. But if you're playing with a real shark, then this game can bite. All right, well, let's see what we think of Carcassonne.
This is a great game. This is a game that it's one of the first games that got me into the hobby. In fact, it may be the first. It predates Settlers of Catan for me, which I know is a little unusual because it seems like Catan is everybody's first game into this, unless you consider something like Risk or Axis and Allies. But
We do not consider those games.
No, not at all. I'm going to offend some of our audience. That's fine, though. We do that a lot. So I remember buying Carcassonne the first time. I got it at one of those pop-up game and calendar stores at the mall around Christmas.
Yeah.
And so I got it. I was like, oh, what's this? And actually, a buddy of mine that worked there was like, try this. And I was like, okay, looks weird, sure. But I've enjoyed playing it ever since. It's a great game. I will say that it was probably a few months in when I finally realized that this is not a peaceful tile laying game like I thought it was. It is a cutthroat winner-takes-all battle for kingdom superiority. And man, it is brutal, especially if you play online. Does it live up to its credentials still? I think so. I think it plays fantastic as a two-player game. It's not bad at 3 or 4 either, but if you get into 5 and 6 territory, oh boy, you want to find something else to do with your life because it can really drag at 5 and 6. And this is a game that should not have analysis paralysis. Let's face it, there's not huge decisions here. And I say that knowing full well that I'm the AP king, and we call it Andy time around here. So this is a game that shouldn't have that. But if you played 5 and 6 and you got a little analysis paralysis going, it can drag. It can drag. For me, Carcassonne is more of a filler game these days. I can easily get a 2-player game in about 20 minutes. I admit I don't usually play with all the expansions, mostly sticking to the river and inns and cathedrals. So maybe I'm missing out on some fun stuff, but Carcassonne is always a lot of fun. It's kind of taken like a chess type game for me. Feels very abstract at this point. So just because I know the tiles and I know what's going on, and just have to work with what I got. So that's my opinion on Carcassonne. Let's hear from the others though. Daniel, what do you got?
All right, so Carcassonne is actually was my official gateway game. I say official because you don't really like I don't count like Munchkin and Runebound and these like Dungeons and Dragons adjacent games that I was always playing. But Carcassonne was shown to me, and I was like, wait, there's something else out there other than Monopoly and Dungeons and Dragons, or their adjacent games. So this one I played really early, and it blew my mind. It really did. I really enjoyed the puzzly nature of it. I love how you had to make those quick choices about the roads, like the that when you place the roads, the meeple comes back. That's always like an interesting thing of like how long do you keep that in? And then you can play, as Andy said, it's a very take that kind of game because you can
Hmm.
keep extending that road where you thought you were going to close it off, but then your opponent comes in and keeps extending it. Yeah, you're getting more points, but you don't get your meeple back, and that's always problematic. You also have the cities that are super intriguing because you're kind of vying for position. And usually, if you a rookie mistake is that you place into a city and you think, oh, this is my city. But someone like Andy, who's very like well known to this game, he's going to build into your city, and he planted several meeples in his city, and then he overtakes you,
Snipe
and
it.
that exactly, and that's always a frustrating moment in those games. But once you know it's coming, you can kind of prepare for it. And then also, but I will say the thing that is the worst about Carcassonne is the farms. They just are. And I've played this game for many years, and it's still something I can't completely wrap my head around. And not the scoring, but like how you can have a farm on the left side of the board, a farm on the right side of the board, and how when they merge, now all of a sudden we're looking at like how many farmers are in the fields of Andes versus mine. And I can never, ever figure out the strategy on how that works. So that's always been a frustration of mine. I kind of wish the farmers weren't in there. I like every other part of the game except for that. And my last point is that this is a tile laying game, which I've been really hot on. But I have discovered that I don't really like tile laying games where it's like a joint board where we're all taking part in that role, because when I build something, I want to have control over what I build, and I want to be able to strategize what I'm doing and not rely on someone else to like not block me or not break me off. So because of that, that is a little frustration. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that's why I myself don't like that part of the game.
Well, I'm going to
All
counter
right.
you on something with the farmers because that's simple area control, man. There's nothing crazy about it. It's area control, and it's a great dimension of the game. You can't get rid of the farmers.
It is area control, but what I don't like about it is you can't lay in someone else's field. So you have to spatially be able to connect the two fields.
Yeah.
And that's where I've always done a bad job. Like I don't know how to lay my people down and then connect to yours to overtake yours. Like I don't see it. It's a hard thing for me to see.
It's just
So
a concept that you can't grasp.
yeah. So I'm not even saying like it's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that's the worst thing for me because my mind just can't do that. Now, if the fields were already there and I just could play and then overtake yours and I knew that it was going to be competing against yours, that's different. But it's when I don't know I'm competing against you, that's a frustration.
Well, and I want to let Kelly and John talk here. Sorry, we're talking so much. Two things. One is that it can be really frustrating if especially if somebody kind of jumps on your farm at the very end of the game, which can happen. You
Yes.
can play a piece with a road and put a farmer on this little road area, and then connect the road, and suddenly you've got another meeple on the farm. But that's part of the fun of the game, in my opinion. It's and the other thing that's really fun, actually, that's really dastardly to do, is to get people to get in a city fight. So you get in a city fight, and they've suddenly got 4 meeples in the city fight, and then you've got 3, and then you back out. They're out of meeples now. You can do whatever you want, almost. It's really evil, but it's a
Yeah.
fun strategy.
For sure.
John, what do you
All
got,
right, John.
man?
Well, here's the deal. I love having an opportunity to really trash a game that Andy loves. I live for these shows.
Hey, whoa!
And
That's
I was
that's my job.
and I was really looking forward to this show because of that. But then the more I was looking into Carcassonne, I played it a few times and I've always enjoyed it. But surely there's something that I can, really trash this game. And I can't trash this game. Carcassonne is a good game. I really can't. It wasn't my gateway game. I played Catan for years before I played any other hobby game. And Carcassonne was a few years later. And the first time I played it, this is a really cool game. Playing it later on, I'm like, oh, I see some more intricacies in this, kind of like what Andy was talking about. Oh, you can do this. You can almost kind of bluff when you place your guides. You can make people think you're going to do this. You're not really going for that. You're not going to invest in that. You're going to do this. There's so many different ways you can go to try to get points and whatnot. And so there's a lot to it. And then you can even go to the next level, like the Andy level, where he has the the tiles memorized, and he's like waiting for certain ones to come out because he's said it's all set up over here. When that one comes out, I'm going to be all over it. But if somebody else takes it, I'll do this. And he's doing all this planning. And so that's what's so cool. That's what makes it a good tournament game too. Carcassonne tournaments, I'm sure people just are insane that playing those, just so into Carcassonne that they know everything about it, and trying to, the bluffing and double bluffing that might be going on with the stuff that they're trying to do. So yeah, it's a great game. It still holds up. What keeps it from being a favorite game of mine is that it's so abstract. So you're calling it a farmer. It's just a person you're treating a different way than some other person. It's not really doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It looks like you're doing these things like building roads and whatnot. It's just abstract ways to get points, which is fine because it's a short game and it doesn't really outstay its welcome. So yes, Carcassonne is still a great game, just not one of my favorites.
See,
this does not meet John Theismann's thematic test.
No, it does not. Does not reach my top 50 games or anything.
We always thought it was very thematic because you have the farmers laying down, and farmers are some of the laziest people I know.
Makes
sense.
Kansas, that's inaccurate. And my father-in-law is actually a farmer, and I tell you what, he'd put all of us to shame.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of that. Kelly, what do you think about Carcassonne? It sounds like you're getting ready to trash it.
Maybe.
So, first of all, I have to comment on Daniel a little bit. I thought this was so cute, learning that Carcassonne was your first kiss into tile laying. And then it helped you realize later in life, like, what it is you love about tile layers. That was just precious. But anyways, let me get stretched out here because Andy, grab your Band-Aids. Here comes some boo-boos.
Oh boy.
What John couldn't do, I will fulfill here. I mean, Carcassonne, yeah, draw a tile, place it, slowly build out this medieval map of cities, fields, monasteries, roads, whatever's in the expansion. Who cares? Who's played them all? Definitely not me. You can put a meeple down, like you said, claim stuff, score points, whatever. That's it. And I agree on the point of there's two ways you play this. It's either turns are super fast because people don't care, or you play with Andy or somebody else that takes an ungodly amount of time to put a tile down. I'm already forgotten what I want to do. I'm going to be on my phone, which makes me a jerk. But am I the jerk, or am I the one just trying to not kill myself? Because it's not my turn for 15, 20 minutes. So for that, not interested.
I don't think we've ever played Carcassonne together, Kelly.
We have actually.
We
actually have.
We'll have to
I think we have.
We'll look at BG stats, but I don't think so.
It could have been before I started logging. But yeah, I mean, sure, for the most part, rules are easy. Obviously, if you get into the weeds of it with the expansions, there's going to be a lot more going on in that sense. And if you stick with the base, I can see why it could be deliverable to new players, to be fair. Because who wants to read a really thick rule book? Now, I will say, I can at least say I respect that it's a classic. It's got name value or whatever. People know what it is usually when you hear about it.
You know what else it is?
What?
It's a Spiel des Jahres winner.
Well, there you go, because they always know how to pick them. No offense, Spiel. But like I said, am I going to be reaching for this on game night? Absolutely not. It is just fine. It's not amazing. I guess it's not... I'll just not say terrible just because I do also consider it a bit of a classic, even if I disagree with it. But it's literally the board game equivalent to a grilled cheese sandwich. It's familiar, it's simple, it's comforting, but unlike grilled cheese, not something I'm going to crave.
It depends what kind of cheese you're using.
That's true. Got some Colby Jack in there? What do you got?
A little sharp cheddar.
Would the Colby Jack be the catapult expansion?
Yes, I think it would be.
I was going to say, maybe you need to add the dexterity aspect to Carcassonne for you, Kelly.
Yeah, maybe.
Our producer Randy, he has all of them, including the catapult. So that's going to get played someday.
Now,
Nice.
I will say the only thing that almost makes me want to eat my words and play some expansions is, like I said, we played Isle of Skye, which is a similar-esque tile layer, but I just feel like Isle of Skye adds some more things, like with the auction bidding, that make it more interesting to me in some of the modules. So I think I'd probably always play that over Carcassonne anyways.
Different games.
One thing
different
though,
games.
last time I played Carcassonne with 6 players, and 3 of the people had never played it before, and it did not go very long. So it was fine.
It didn't go very long.
No, it
Usually
went fine.
Those games
people
go
just
long.
People did their snappy turns. We went around, we played, had fun.
So they just didn't care. I see. Okay.
To my point.
No, maybe you just. I'm not going to die if I don't win this game. So let me just do what I think's best.
I do want to say one good thing about Carcassonne, actually, about its longevity. As far as the like new gateway games, like I think you think of Ticket to Ride, Catan,
Yeah.
maybe Pandemic,
Splendor.
well, sure, Splendor. Carcassonne, I feel like, still has not taken on the ire of the community, which I think speaks to actually its cleverness and that it is kind of timeless. Because even after you've played a million games, unless you're Kelly, it still is like this actually is a fun experience. And I'm still doing something that's enjoyable. But Ticket to Ride, you realize, oh man, all I'm doing is set collecting and just laying down tracks. Catan, you're like, if no one will trade with me and the dice are bad, whatever. But Carcassonne feels like a gamer's game, even after all these years.
I would completely agree with you there. Although I've had Ticket to Ride rejuvenated a little bit in me because I've been playing the Legacy version. It's actually pretty dang cool.
But that's
Can't
Ticket to
compare
Ride
that.
Legacy. That's completely
I know
different.
Legacy's totally different.
All right. Well, what do you think? We'd love to hear your comments and thoughts in the comments section, and feel free to get a hold of us on various socials as well, including Instagram and a Facebook group. And you can email us at mail@aroundtheboard.com.